Have you ever wanted to run as fast as a motorcycle in 7 days to die? Well, today I'm going to show you how, because we're talking about maxing out buffs. Let's get to it. So we're going to start off by turning yourself into Wolverine. This is going to give you insane health regen as well as the maxed out version of natural critical injury healing. That is a mouthful to say. If I drink this little dev thing here, you can see I now have an abrasion that is going to last me for 10 minutes. In order to max out your critical injury healing, it is pretty easy to do. You will need to max out fortitude and then max out healing factor. Healing factor is going to give you 1 HP every 5 seconds, but it is also going to heal your critical injuries twice as fast. Next, you need the Commando Outfit at tier 6. This is going to give you an additional 20% to your natural critical injury healing. We are then going to follow that up with a buff from the health bar, which is also going to boost your natural critical injury healing by 200%. Once we have done all of this and we drink this little thing again to give us another abrasion, you can see that the abrasion went from 10 minutes down to 2 minutes and 16 seconds. And if we select the status effect, you can see that it has a healing speed of 440%. So what does this look like for a more serious injury for something like a broken leg? Well, if we remove all the buffs and we drink this little thing, then you can see we have a broken leg for a 1-hour timer. If we reapply all the buffs and activate the broken leg again, you can see that time is now down to 27 minutes. Now, keep in mind, this is 27 minutes without a cast or anything else applied to it. This is just your natural critical injury healing abilities, which is fantastic because the faster you can get some of these healed, the better, because nobody likes not being able to sprint. Next up, how would you like to absolutely destroy all of the traders when it comes to bartering? Did you know it's possible to reach a bartering ability of 80-85? I say 80-85 because your buying capability is an 85% reduction, your selling capability is an 80% improvement. So how do we achieve it? This one is a little bit more convoluted, but it is doable. The first thing you're going to need is the Enforcer sunglasses or any other tier 6 helmet piece that does just bartering and not bartering buying. And currently at the time of this video, your only other option for that is the Ranger headpiece. This is going to give you a 20% improvement going both ways. Then you need the cigar. This is going to give you a 10% improvement going both ways. Just your head slot alone is going to give you a 30% improvement in bartering, but we're not done. Next, you will need to max out your intellect attribute so that you can max out better barterer. This is going to give you an additional 25% going both ways. At this point, you have achieved 55% better bartering, both buying and selling. But we're still not done. Next, you're going to need the Magnum Enforcer Volume 4. This states that when bartering with a 44 gun drawn, it gives you a 5% better deal. We have now achieved 60% better bartering. Now comes the buffs. You need the Sugar Butts. They give you plus 10%. We are now at 70% better bartering. The Pumpkin Cheesecake gives you 5% better bartering for buying only, so we now have 75% buying power. And last but not least, you need Grandpa's Awesome Sauce, which gives you another 10% for a total of, as I stated at the beginning of this segment, 85% for buying and 80% for selling. So what does this look like when you actually go to use it? Well, first off, everything is absolutely dirt cheap. You can buy many cheaper items for almost as much as you actually sell them for. Some things are only a duke or two off. For example, the splints buy for 4 and sell for 3. You can get skill books for as cheap as 44 dukes, insanely cheap armor, and you can respec for as low as 899 dukes, something that would normally cost you around 5 grand. But that's not all. There is an absolutely terrible exploit here as well, and I say terrible because it is very inefficient, but I'm going to show it to you nonetheless because it's funny. If you take a look at the wood storage crate, it sells for 2 and buys for 2. But here's the interesting part. Instead of buying 1 back, if I decide to buy 2 back at one time, you can see it goes from a price of 2 to 5, which doesn't make sense. That's because this is not exactly 2. In the background somewhere, it's something like 2.5, but the game just rounds and it's rounding down for whatever reason. However, when we go to purchase 2 at a time instead of only 1, it's then rounding up to 5. The funny thing is this works in the opposite direction as well. So if I sell her 20 of these things in one go, you can see that they're going to sell for 43. Some of you more astute people will realize that that math doesn't work out. It should only sell for 40. So if we sell them to her, we make 43 dukes. Then all we have to do is buy them back one at a time. That's going to leave us with 3 additional dukes. We also gain all of the experience from doing that sale. So we buy them back one at a time, turn around, resell them to her. Buy them back one at a time, turn around and resell them to her. Every time gaining free experience and free dukes. It's terribly inefficient, but it does work. And if you want an idea of how inefficient it is, with all of these buffs, we can buy a Grandpa's Awesome Sauce for 224 dukes. That only lasts us 3 minutes, so we have to, in 3 minutes, make a net positive of 224 dukes selling these chests to her and then buying them back, so that we can buy another Awesome Sauce and repeat this process. That's not even taking into account the cost of the sugar butts. How would you like to fall from pretty much any height and not die? Here I am at the top of 𝐷𝐸ⴇ Tower. Now, before some of you jump down there in the comments and start saying a bunch of nonsense, I know that the oh crap drops exist and they eliminate all fall damage. But there are situations that you could be in where you just need to jump off the roof of a building or jump from some height in order to save yourself from getting eaten by zombies, and you don't have time to eat some candy before you do so. On top of that, it only lasts for 6 minutes. What if I told you you could fall from just about any height and survive it with static buffs? This one is absolutely insane, super easy to do, and you'll never die or get a sprained or broken leg from a fall ever again. To achieve this, we're going to start by putting 8 points into agility. This will get you to maxed out parkour. Parkour states that you can fall a safe distance of 5 meters. Digging into the game files, I found out that you can fall 6 meters without taking any damage or having any chance for a sprained leg or broken leg or anything else. Your base safe fall distance is 6 meters. This adds 5 to that. This means we can now fall a total of 11 meters without taking any damage. This buff also ensures that we will never get a sprained or broken leg when falling. Next, you're going to need to find The Great Heist Volume 5. This book is nutty. You will need to carry around 5,000 dukes for this to be active, but if you have 5,000 or more dukes on you, you now have an additional 15 meters of fall distance without taking any damage. This drives our safe fall distance up to 26 meters, which is crazy on its own, but we're not done. Next, you need a pair of tier 6 boots that will increase your safe fall distance. There's a bunch of different options. They all do the exact same and increase your fall distance by +6. For this example, I'm using a set of tier 6 rogue boots. So by default, without these boots, we have a safe fall distance of 26. Adding these to the mix gives us a safe fall distance of 32 meters. Next, we're going to modify these boots and put the impact bracing mod on them. The impact bracing mod doesn't give you details on how much it actually extends your safe fall distance, but digging into the XML files, I can tell that it's about 2. It's actually just a little more than 2 meters, but we're just going to call it 2 for simplicity's sake. This gives us an effective safe fall distance of 34 meters. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. This is safe fall distance. So 34 meters is how far we can fall without taking any damage at all. We can fall much further and take a little bit of damage depending on how much health we have. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to jump from the highest point of 𝐷𝐸ⴇ Tower. Now, I held W while I was falling, and because of that, I actually technically fell further than I should have and picked up more speed than I should have. I could have touched the ground much earlier. Because I did that, I actually did that on purpose because I wanted to demonstrate this. You can see that I took 103 damage. If we reset and I fall closer to the building and straight down, you can see that I only took 100 damage. So when you are falling from a great height, it's better to fall in a straight as line as possible down and hit the ground as quick as possible instead of holding forward and extending that out some. If we fall from various other areas of this building, you can see that we take significantly less damage depending on where we fall. Even at about halfway up the building, if we fall from there, we take very little damage because we have such a huge safe fall distance. Now, before I show you how to become the Flash and run as fast as a motorcycle, I just want to show you how far 34 meters is in a way that's a bit easier to visualize. So here I am with a marker exactly 34 meters away. I'm in God mode, I'm floating, and I am in as a straight of a line as possible, 34 meters away from that marker. Here I am on the ground, and I'm going to run directly to the marker so that you can see how long it actually takes to run to that marker at 34 meters away. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how far that is. Once again, keep in mind, this is your safe fall distance. This is how far you can fall before you take any amount of damage at all. You can pretty much jump from any average building in the game, jump from the roof of it, and take no damage whatsoever. All right, now let's talk about how to become the Flash. So this one's a little more convoluted than any of the previous ones to reach the actual max move speed in the game and have all of the available move speed buffs. At least the buffs you can achieve naturally because there are some some dev ones that you can get, but those don't count. We're going to start with the perk books. So first you are going to need Bar Brawling Volume 6. This states that when you get hit, your brawling attacks are 20% faster and you get an increased move speed of 10%. So it doesn't tell you, but this buff only lasts 5 seconds. We're kind of memeing at this point, but let's move on. Next, you need to max out the automatic weapons handbook perks. So you need all 7 volumes of the automatic weapons handbook. This states that each kill boosts your run speed by 20% for 20 seconds. These two combined together will give us an increased move speed of 30%, but as usual, we're not done. Next, you are going to need any of the shoes that increase your run speed. There are options, but for this test, we are using the light armor version, which are the enforcer shoes, as they do not inhibit our mobility. These will add another 20% to our run speed, giving us an effective 50% increased run speed when we take a hit and kill something. Next, we're going to take a little steroids. This is going to bring us up to 60% increased run speed. And last but not least, we're going to drink a Mega Crush. This gives us a 50% increase in run speed. At this point, if we kill something and get hit by something for 5 seconds, we have a 110% increase in run speed. At that point, we will be at 100% increased run speed for 15 seconds, landing on a run speed of an 80% increase for the duration of our other 2 buffs. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's great, Fire Spark, but how fast is that? It's insanely fast. It's phenomenally fast. You can jump insane distances if you have maxed out parkour. You are literally the Flash. I mean, look at this pond. You can just jump this pond with no problem. You can clear entire cars with no problem. And just to give you an idea of how insanely fast you are, I did a comparison test between running with all of these buffs, a motorcycle holding down shift, and just the little moped bike or whatever it's called holding down shift. So we're going max speed on both of those. The number at the top is my frame count. I run 30 frames per second. You're seeing this video at 30 frames per second, and it's an arbitrary number to attach value to how quickly these clips are over. Each of these clips start where our foot or feet touch the first line or cross the first line of the bridge. They then end when the opposite happens. So when our first foot steps off the bridge or both of our feet on the motorcycle or moped are no longer on the bridge. And when we stop at that point, you can see that running, we cross the bridge in 88 frames. On the bike, holding down shift, going at max speed, we cross the bridge in 82 frames. Now you may be like, well, that's 6 frames. Yes, that's the blink of your eye. Like you blink and that's the difference. It's nuts. Now 126 frames on the moped compared to 88, you run faster than you can sprint on the moped. You have literally become the Flash in 7 Days to Die. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you all found this video helpful and informational. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.